How you doing? This is Martin here from Soul Trail. So, being a wild camper, I like my stoves. I really do, and I like to keep everything as light as possible. So, I put together this from several different parts, but this is probably my lightest ever stove. So there's fuel in this, enough to boil water, 150 milliliters of water twice, windshield, alcohol stove, pot, spoon, and everything in this only weighs 240 grams. So if lightweight stoves is something you're interested in, stick around. Okay, let's open her up. So I have a review done on this already. It's the Lexada 750 milliliter pot. So that's light, very, very handy. I'll put the link there, you can watch it. Okay, so I'm using the XBoil. You've seen me use the XBoil a good few times. So that's enough fuel to boil two cups of water, 150 milliliters each. I have my titanium spoon, and of course the XBoil itself. So let's talk about the XBoil, or should I say the XBoils, because there's two different kinds, an ultralight and a standard. So I have both here and I want to show you them. The only thing I will say, this is the older model. There's a shark fin kind of effect for holding a pan or a frying pan, and that's on all units now. So this was the older model. So yeah, let's go through and let me show you. Okay, let's take a look at the ultralight and the standard XBoils. You get different size bottles with the different units that you buy. So it all depends on what you're doing, whether it be a week, say a full day out, or just going up to for a cup of tea into the woods. You can bring the fuel to suit. So you have the ultralight version, and this is the ultralight alcohol stove with graphite sponge in the inside to absorb your fuel. That's 55 millimeters wide. Then you have your standard burner, that's 70 millimeters wide, and again you have the graphite sponge on the inside, which really helps with igniting the fuel in the cold. So this was the first XBoil that I ever got. He sent me out this is the 90 to 100 millimeter ultralight, and this was the 120 to 130 bigger version with the shark fin on top. This was for my jet boil that I was using. So that comes with the standard version. As I said, the shark fin on top comes in all units at the moment. So that's for your frying pan, just to lay it on top. Very, very handy. So this is how it's packed. So very neatly on the inside of whatever pot that you're using, it just goes to the inside wall. So take your alcohol stove out, but be careful when you're taking out the XBoil, because it springs back. So hold it so it doesn't spring back and hit your eye or something like that. So yeah, it very easily goes together. You just slot them into the two holes that are for it and pull it back. That's perfect. Okay, so inside in your both alcohol stoves, you get pot hooks. These are stainless steel pot hooks, and they easily just clip on to the side of your windshield. And this will keep your pot roughly around 1.1 inches above the flame, which is meant to be the proper height to get the proper fuel efficiency. You can also, if you don't want to use the pot hooks, you can use tent pegs, steel tent pegs, and there's pre-existed punched holes there for it. So very handy option as well. So as I said, the graphite sponge in the inside, it's so easy to help ignite the fuel, plus it doesn't leak. So safety wise, if you're ever cooking in a vestibule, alcohol stove, you're always worried about knocking it over, but with that it's so handy. And you also have it in the standard version as well. It's a very good idea. Okay, let's put her on and let's get 100 milliliters of fuel and let's get it burning. So as you can see, they're designed so any handles for pots or cups, they're above the actual windshield. Okay, let's start timing. So 100 millimeters of water boils in 5.47 minutes. Perfect. So let's try the let's try the standard version, and this is wider at 70 millimeters, so you'd have more flame there, so you would expect this to be faster. So 100 milliliters, and that is 5.29, so that's only 18 seconds in the difference. You can see how big the flame is coming from the standard one. Okay, let's do the test. I'm going to put 30 milliliters of fuel into each, the ultralight and the standard, and let's burn the both of them to see how long they last. Okay, both lit. Let's start timing. So the standard on your right and the ultralight on your left. Okay, so the standard burns out at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And 14 minutes and 17 seconds for the ultralight. So there you have it. The brilliant XBoil. I think I'll always be using it. And again, you have different choices. I'll leave all the details in the description because you have to measure your pot and buy the windshield to suit whatever pot that you're using. But I was on Leo from XBoil. I was on his YouTube channel last night and I saw the use for his standard alcohol stove. So I'll just show you. So this is the S-Bite. It's the S-Bite solid fuel stove. So it's like the rectangle blocks that you get. But I had this, I didn't have the rectangle blocks, but it was kind of like an impulse buy. I've never used it. But what I saw last night is, look at that. That is so bloody handy. You can use the standard or the ultralight version, and it is high enough above the flame to actually get the most from the flame. But that is such a handy unit. Because when I bought that, I didn't have the solid bits. I was thinking, will I use like firelighters or stuff? But that is so handy. So I'm definitely going to give that a try, because obviously you can't use your normal version because it's just too high. That's the Tringia. So that is such a small handy unit. So I'll bring this out and give it a go as well. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. So it's a very, very handy ultralight alcohol stove. So please hit the like button. It's really, really helping the channel. And yeah, subscribe if you like it. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.